Here we have the Office Blind HDA, part of the interior blinds and its settings. So a little overview, you have settings for adjustment, you have the main settings for the handling, for geometry details, and further down the road you have advanced settings for the UV mapping and then transform tool. But first things first, we start with the height and width adjustment. You can just match it to your window. This button is pretty neat because it's a fast preview mode, so that reduces the poly count, so the adjustments for everything is a little bit quicker, but of course you can just switch it off and you have every little detail here, so I leave it on for a second. You have the settings for the rotation of the blades, so that would be here. You can open and close it, you can open and close, so that means you put it from left to right, right to left. That's in construction mode. You also have an animation mode if you want to have the thing animated, but that really depends on your host application running the Houdini engine. For example, Unreal doesn't support keyframes at the moment, but that will be solved soon, I guess. So be careful with that, or read the instruction for your host application. So I just leave that in construction mode. So here you have settings for the handling. You can have that on and off the handling, and so it's here because I cannot see the handling right now, but because I'm in fast preview mode, so I have to switch that off because that's a lot of geometry for the fast preview mode, just don't need it. So handling on and off, and you can also put it to the right side, so it's over here, or we leave it on the left side. You can choose between string and chain or string and chain. So just to show you that would be a chain, and here we have a string, so it's just a little string. And but you can also have string and change, so whatever you want to achieve you can choose from. And you have a couple of more settings for the height, so you can move it up and down, the spheres amount, how many spheres are on that string or chain, the subdivision of the sphere. If you are further away you won't probably need too much subdivision, but if you do a close-up you will have that increase, because then they look really nice and round. So I just increase the subdivision. You can see that here now they have a lot of subdivision. I get nice and round. So we have more settings for the geometry details. So you have a low poly rail, which is this one. So if you switch that on, that's so this shape gets more simple and have less polygons, so all things are a little bit quicker. You have the lower string, which is this one right here, so you can switch that off if you don't need it. You can have it on. You can switch the spheres on and off if you don't need them. And here again you have slider for the subdivisions to have more or less polys on these spheres. The advanced settings, that's the second one. That means that's the banding of this lower string. And so if I move the slider here, you have it straight, or you can have it really nice and round, and there's also a little difference slider. So play around with it, have a lot of fun. That's almost it. So if you want to texture it later on, you have to switch the UV mapping on, and this one is for the movement in X, Y, and Z, and also for the rotation. So I think that was it for the Office Blind.